Good morning, everybody. Thank you for those kind words, Dr. Troy. I am honored to be here to work alongside you and all of our colleagues here to serve you, our students. Before we start, I would like to take a moment of reverence to acknowledge the passing of our former interim president, Dr. Matthew Jenkins, who passed away last night. Dr. Jenkins was a graduate of our veterinary school. He and his wife, Roberta, met here while on the campus. They are wonderful, wonderful people, wonderful benefactors of Tuskegee University. Dr. Jenkins is a terrific man with a lively sense of humor who loved Mother Tuskegee. So let us take a moment of silence to honor Dr. Jenkins. Thank you very much. And when you walk through the Kellogg, through the lounge, I want you to remember that Dr. and Mrs. Jenkins provided all the funding to renovate that beautiful space there. And again, a lasting memory of their generosity. The Fall Convocation is an important occasion for me as well. It allows me the opportunity to speak with you, our first-year class, the great class of 2023, to share a message that I think is important for you as you enter Tuskegee University. So I am pleased to see all of you here this morning. I would like to welcome members of our Board of Trustees who are here. Are there any other board members in the audience? Any elected officials? Parents, if there are parents and family members here, I'd like them to rise so that we can acknowledge them. Well, this is a student-only event. Wow, okay. Alumni, please rise so we may acknowledge you. Raise your hands. Alumni, wonderful. And those of you who are eminent associates, some of you alumni may want to continue to rise. Thank you for being here this weekend. And our faculty, staff, and administrators. Without you, where would our students be? Please rise, faculty, staff, and administrators. And I would like to acknowledge my husband, Dr. George Roberts, First Gentleman of Tuskegee. I think he looks pretty sharp today. I bought him that nice jacket. I have personal privilege. The title of my talk is The Right Time for Doing What is Right. The right time for doing what is right. We have often heard about the value of integrity, whether referring to personal character, as in, she is a woman of integrity, or its import in the workplace. Integrity and accountability go hand in hand, or as an attribute of an esteemed leader. His leadership embodies integrity. But what is integrity, and how do you demonstrate it? Is it an attribute that defines who you are as a person, as a student, as a future professional and leader? In our talk today, I'd like to describe the importance of behaving with integrity at all times and provide examples for you of the consequences of a lack of integrity. And finally, I'd like to talk with you about what integrity means in your own life here at Tuskegee University and beyond. Martin Luther King said, "The time is always right to do right at his last sermon at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., 4 days before he was assassinated in 1968. He was speaking about the threats of militarism, materialism, and racism, the triple threats, and said that we needed to act now. He was speaking about integrity, having strong moral principles that guide your behavior and work toward bringing justice for all. Like many of you, my parents told me to always tell the truth, to take responsibility for the things that I do, and to do the right thing. They said it before Spike Lee said it. They told us, I don't care what your friends say or do, you have to do the right thing. It wasn't easy going against some of what our friends did. It would have been easier to go with the crowd. But in the long run, the lesson was clear. We were raised to show integrity and to tell the truth at all times. Oprah Winfrey defines integrity in this way. Real integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not. Booker T. Washington showed us the importance of integrity as our founding principal and president of Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute. In 1881, Booker T. Washington arrived at Tuskegee at the age of 25 from Hampton, Virginia. He was a recent graduate of Hampton, and he was asked by General Armstrong at Hampton to lead a school for freed slaves in Tuskegee. He arrived here to a dilapidated church that was to be the home of Tuskegee Institute. But this did not deter him. He was committed to his task. He continued his journey to recruit students and faculty to his new school. He traveled on foot as he did not have a horse, and he stayed with people in the community. He knew that he made a commitment to establish Tuskegee Normal School, and he put his heart and soul into it. He was a man of integrity. He knew that the students who arrived did not have money to attend college, so he developed what we would now call a work-study program for them. They worked at school in exchange for tuition and room and board. Students learned how to make bricks and built over 100 buildings on our campus. Others planted gardens for food to sustain the campus, and others worked in campus kitchens and laundries. Booker T. Washington raised money for Tuskegee by developing fruitful relationships with major philanthropists and captains of industry, such as J.P. Morgan, Julius Rosenwald, who owned Sears Roebuck and Company and financed the Rosenwald schools in the South, Andrew Carnegie, and Rockefeller, just to name a few. These were men who believed that freed slaves deserved an education, and they believed that Booker T. Washington would use their money and resources for that purpose. They knew that Washington had integrity. They knew that he would keep his word and use the resources to develop Tuskegee. Imagine, by 1900, Tuskegee Institute had an endowment of over $1 million and more students enrolled than any other college in Alabama. There are more modern examples of the importance of integrity. In your laboratory classes in high school, you've learned about the importance of honesty and fairness in reporting your research findings. Ironically, the Tuskegee syphilis study, where over 600 Black men were subjects in a public health study of the untreated effects of syphilis, has taught us quite a bit about the importance of truth and honesty in research. The men in the study were not told the real reason for their participation. They were deceived. They were told that the medications that they were receiving were to treat bad blood. They were not told that the government was interested in finding out what would happen to syphilis patients when you withhold treatment. Even though it was discovered in 1947 that penicillin could cure syphilis, This study continued for 40 years, from 1932 to 1972. These men experienced horrible physical consequences of untreated syphilis, consequences that affected their ability to work and take care of their families. These men died preventable deaths. They were never given the choice to withdraw from the study. In 1972, a governmental investigation of this study was conducted and concluded that the study was ethically unjustified. A class action lawsuit was filed. To make retribution, the government created a program to provide lifetime medical and burial benefits to all participants. In 1975, this was expanded to include wives, widows, and children. What did we learn from the Tuskegee syphilis experiment? Consider whether the researchers did the right thing. Did they protect the rights of the participants? Were they honest with the participants? As a result of this experiment, President Clinton issued a public apology in 1997 to families of these men, to the citizens of Tuskegee, and to all African Americans for betraying their trust in their government. The Tuskegee University National Center for Bioethics in Research and Healthcare was established here to provide a focal point for training and research in health-related ethics. It is always the right time to do what is right. The college admissions bribery scandal that you may have heard about is a current example of the failure of integrity in the admissions process. 51 people paid over $25 million to William Rick Singer between 2011 and 2018 to influence their children's admissions to colleges and universities that were elite. Bribing exam administrators, coaches, and college administrators, and laundering bribery payments are the major allegations. These are people who already have the advantage of wealth. Their children are able to attend prestigious private schools, can take SAT, ACT prep courses, and so on. On Friday, Felicity Huffman, an actress in Desperate Housewives who pled guilty, was sentenced to 40 days in jail, a fine of $30,000, and 250 hours of community service. She stated that she felt utter shame at her role in this scandal, and apologized profusely to her daughter. Her daughter asked her, "Why didn't you believe in me? Why didn't you think I could do it on my own?" Huffman responded, "I am so sorry, Sophia. I was frightened, I was stupid, and I was so wrong." It is always the right time to do what is right. Excuse me. Here at Tuskegee, we are very interested in your learning about integrity, morals, and professional ethics, because the current climate in America does not provide good examples of what these mean. Thank you. It may be difficult for young people to discern the appropriate values, thank you, at this point in history. Excuse me. When the news is fraught with leaders who have told lies and spread misinformation. Last month, the Washington Post reported that the president has made 12,019, quote, false or misleading claims over the 929 days of his presidencies, end quote. Claims related to immigration, trade, the economy, and the investigation of Russian interference account for the majority of these. Hurricane Dorian devastated the Bahamas, Grand Bahamas, and Abaco Islands, and unfortunately, the Bahamas is now bracing for another hurricane, Humberto. The president tweeted that the approaching hurricane, Dorian, would impact South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama, will also likely be hit much harder than anticipated. Alabama residents began calling the Weather Bureau to confirm this, and the Birmingham, Alabama office of the National Weather Service tweeted 20 minutes later that Alabama will not see any impacts from Dorian. At this point, the Birmingham office did not know that people were reacting to the president's tweet. They said they were focused on protecting the public, counteracting the wrong information to stop public panic, which is their mission. Several days later, on September 6th, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, issued a statement in support of the president's claim, contradicting the National Weather Service. The intent was to make the president look truthful when they knew this statement was false. This is now being investigated by multiple agencies which are concerned about the scientific integrity of the scientists at the National Weather Service. What do you think happens when the public cannot trust the accuracy of scientific findings? What happens when people don't believe in the integrity of their government? This is the right time to do the right thing. As your president, I am committed to your education and success, which includes character development. How can we help you to be critical thinkers and make sense of the constant deluge of false claims that are communicated through the media? We want you to understand that true leadership does not involve making the facts fit your objectives, but inspiring others to work together to create what is best for the common good by being honest, fair, and showing integrity. Your education includes more than gaining knowledge and skills related to your major. When we talk about educating the whole person, we are referring to building moral character. What are your values, and are they ethical? Do you demonstrate integrity in all that you do? Do these attributes lead to professionalism as you move into your field? No matter what you do when you leave Tuskegee, you will be a leader. Whether you go to graduate school to earn a master's or PhD, or to professional school, training to become a lawyer, a physician, a business person, you will be called upon to make decisions, some that seem small at the time, but will weigh heavily on your mind if you do not do the right thing. For example, you may one day have to choose between doing the wrong thing, if it means keeping your job, or doing what is right and perhaps losing your job. I hope you will land on the side of integrity because of your moral core. Remember one of the first lessons from your family. We, as your Tuskegee family, count on you to become leaders who represent your family, your community, and Tuskegee with integrity, honesty, and fairness. We must remember our founders, Booker T. Washington's proclamation. Education that gives one physical courage to stand in front of the cannon and fails to give him moral courage to stand up in defense of right and justice is a failure. You are here to fulfill your destiny. Do so with integrity and excellence, And know that excellence in every way is knowing that it is always the right time to do what is right. Thank you very much.